Blog Talk Radio.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals.
The other night that I didn't understand. A figure walks through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his 3-quarter hat and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution, secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land is free. Home brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we hope you can always keep. The tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free, and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent. Although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper, so your life can be controlled. You pay for flags that make our nation turn from God to sin. You've taken a sickness number and traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm, so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt. Put men of God in jail. Harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn. And your daughters are doctors, so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? Oh, sons of the Republic, arise. Take a stand. Defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now, as tyrants trample each God-given right, we We'd only watch him tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside to dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he fought to keep, what would be your answer? He called out from the grave, is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
All right. God bless our republic. Yeah. I highly doubt that. I don't think God's blessing this republic. But anyway, tonight, put out a message to some people. Hopefully it spread a little bit. You know, I don't like to do that because when you put all your cards in one basket, you'll find out Blog Talk won't work or something will be, you know, happen. You know, well, the sound is garbled. Some people say, well, I'll deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I can hear it fine. Most people can. I replay the stuff, you know, just got to pay attention. You know, we need a manual. That's what everybody should get. You know, now everyone should like print up a manual and sell it online on how to use a cell phone. Because you know when you're talking, everyone's talking, they're holding it from their ear. They've got the windows rolled down in the car. You know, and they're talking sideways this way, facing it up. It's like when people that in the movies how you see them shoot a gun and they hold it sideways, you know, and upside down, and you know, come on. So, you know, just pretend. You know, pretend now. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that I've been going through here in my situation with my case. You know, and put the call out there because last time this happened, I had to have a couple of people drive down from another state to get me out of jail. And they wouldn't release me. They would not release me. They kept me, and hopefully I have some witnesses on the phone here tonight that could back up and verify some of the stuff that I'm going to be telling you. Because this is serious business. This is a jail here in Rockingham County that has murdered 9 inmates in the last 4 years. 9 inmates in the last 4 years. They murdered them. Okay? And they murdered them. They killed them. I assure you of that. I can assure you, I'll be here as a witness, and I will testify that they murdered those men and women, okay? Because it almost happened to me when they got me in there, okay? And they tackled me and 4-pointed me down to the ground and into a grate in the floor, had me handcuffed. I had a concussion, blood everywhere. I mean, I had to write help, SOS, in blood, in my own blood on the wall, okay? They had me there for 17 days after I already posted a $45,000 bond. Now, what could someone do in this country that would require them to be held on a $45,000 bond? You would automatically think it must be something pretty bad, right? Perhaps maybe beat somebody up really bad, shot somebody, robbed a bank maybe, right? I mean, that's what people would think when you hear that. You know what I did? This is the crime of the century, folks. Get ready. I said hello to my son in the hallway in the courthouse. That's no lie. I said hello to my 5-year-old son. And that's why I had a $45,000 bond. So if you don't have to believe me if you don't want to, but it's the God's honest truth. And like I said, anything I say here tonight, you don't have to believe me. I don't really care because I'm the one that has to live it. And, you know, and it's the God's honest truth, like I said. First of all, this again, that was, and you know, that this basically stems from all this, from back when this all started, this nightmare in 2020, which, by the way, now, the person that I was having conflict with in a domestic situation is, by the way, living under my roof again with me today, with my children. So it's what I was shouting years ago. This was all, you know, a blown out proportion, and the court should have never been involved. Nobody believed me. As we can see, the person that this all started out from is back under my roof living with me today. So So why, this is the problem we have, is why do we have these courts entangled in our personal lives like this? Why do they have so much control over us? What's going on? How can they destroy someone's life? They're trying to destroy one of my friend's lives right now in another state. I'm not going to tell his story because that would be up to him to do, but it was on the news media. It was all over the news. I mean, a guy goes, 15 years, 16 years, doing good, and they just rip it out from underneath you, rip out the carpet right out from underneath you. Why do we allow this to happen? Why do we allow this tyranny? Why don't we stop it? We have the power to stop this, but we don't. And maybe because it's not happening to you. Maybe it's not happening to your child. Maybe it's not happening to your father. Maybe it's not happening to your brother. I guarantee you it will. It will. It's going to happen to you because if you don't stop it, it's going to happen. Right now, folks, as I sit here, okay, I have a warrant for my arrest for failure to appear, which I did appear. I was there. I was there for 2 years in a row, actually, trying to get the thing freaking resolved. And I had a lawyer I paid $3,000 to. Paid him cash. Bam, slapped it right on his desk. Told him to handle the case. As soon as, of course, after I paid him, guess what happened? Voicemail. You never get a hold of them. They're gone. Oh, so-and-so, Gibson, come docket number, I'm here. Who's your lawyer, sir? Attorney Hines? He's not here. And he did not show up for court. I think he only showed up like 2 times out of 2 years. The last time he showed up, he entered a guilty plea that I did not authorize him to do. And I ended up with a failure to appear. And I have a $25,000 bond right now. $25,000 I got to post if I want to get out of jail. For a misdemeanor. $1,000. I don't know how much of this story I want to get into here because, I've told it a couple times already. But most of you probably won't believe me anyway, if there's anyone new out there. But that's why maybe I was kind of hoping maybe I can feed off of a couple people here, maybe some people that know my story, and converse instead of me just telling it. Because this way here, it might be better off doing it that way, in a way. Let's see what the chat room says here. There's a couple people in the chat room. It's more than you know. Well, yeah, it is. Is my sound quality not working now? Is that what you're saying? Is the quality not working now? Can everyone hear me okay now? I mean, in the chat room there? I mean, I don't know if you can hear me good or not. I don't know. Press 1 if somebody wants to talk or whatever. If they can't hear me, press 1. I've got about 6 or 7 people on the call board. So, I mean, I don't know if you can hear me good or not. I don't know. Hopefully you can. I don't know. It's good now. Okay, good. Somebody responded. Thank you. Okay, good. Because nobody will, people don't want to respond. Anyway, okay, you can hear me now. Good. All right. This is the truth, is what basically happened. Let me just go ahead and play it out here real quick. And then people maybe can tell me their advice, because I love to hear some of this advice that some people get me. But I'm going to tell you right now, I need some help now. I mean, I'm pretty much destitute now. I'm in trouble. Because, they've pretty much destroyed me here. I mean, I worked my life to own my home, own 2 homes, own my own business, and live comfortably. But the system has robbed me of everything I have pretty much now. Literally, they have taken everything I have. I mean, I court fees, probation fees, attorneys, lost work. It piles up as time goes on. I mean, you know what they charge for probation fees here? You got to pay $30 a visit. And then my court costs were like, I think it was the first time around it was $2,300 something, and then it was, and then the last one was $2,900 something. I paid it all. And my probation fees. And then that's when my probation was done. They told me I was still on probation for another 2 years, and I wasn't. I don't know where to begin here, how to start this, because people just, when you hear this story, it's just, these people are a law unto themselves. I thought, well, anyways, let's start with this. I called the clerk's office today, find out what the hell was going on. And immediately, now this took me 3 days to get a hold of the clerk and the court because they kept hanging up on me. Finally, I get a hold of this real snotty bitch, okay, and that's what she is, okay, and she's just, with her voice, yeah. What's the case number, sir? What's the case number? Who are you? Give her the case number. She goes, you got a warrant for your arrest. I said, I know. That's why I'm calling. Well, you can either do one of two things. You can hire a lawyer, or you can come down and turn yourself in. No, those two options are not going to play out well. She goes, well, you need to get a hold of your lawyer that you had. I said, he doesn't answer my phone calls. I can't get a hold of him. What do you recommend? We don't give legal advice. Okay, what happened to the motion to dismiss that I filed last year? It's stamped. I got a back copy of it. It's sitting in the prosecutor's mailbox or the judge's mailbox. Okay, you mailed 3 copies in. I got a copy here. Okay, why is it sitting in their mailbox for 9 months? Why wasn't it ruled upon? I filed a motion to dismiss. Why wasn't it ruled upon? Because it was a false arrest to begin with, you see. Under North Carolina, there's something called Good Samaritan laws. Now, this stems from, I was charged with DUI and reckless driving. I wasn't reckless driving because nobody saw me driving. I don't know how I got charged with reckless driving. And matter of fact, the state trooper that showed up, he showed up way after the fact, and he never even seen me in my car. and he says in the police report, my keys were in the ignition. I don't have any ignition. It was a battery. It was the push button start with the VOG, whatever the hell they call it. So they had a brand new car. So he didn't see no keys in the ignition. And I actually lied right there. Anyway, what had happened was that day is, everyone knows the story pretty much. There's no surprise here. I was working for law enforcement at the time, undercover, and made an undercover drug buy. And what had happened is I don't know if I was exposed to some of the drugs that I bought that day. I don't know. I know I had purchased fentanyl and crystal meth. And I'm not talking about 2 little dime bags. It were little large amounts. And when I made the buy inside the dealer's house, I put it inside. I smoked cigarettes, and I put it inside a cigarette pack. And I guess the bag must have ripped open or something, I'm thinking, because when on my way home, I was smoking a cigarette, and I got dizzy. And I felt like I was going to get sick to my stomach. So I pulled off to the side of the road. That's how bad it got. And passerby stopped by and said, "Hey, you okay?" Because that's what they do here in North Carolina. I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I was just feeling a little sick." So I figured at that time I was running for North Carolina House Representative. And I said, "Well, this would be a good spot to hang up some signs." What the hell? I might as well do that while I'm shaking this off. Because I didn't know what the hell was wrong. I thought I was just having a stomach ache. I don't know. Got a little dizzy. I don't know. It was weird. Funny feeling. And she called an ambulance for me, this lady. So I guess she called 911 or said I was broke down or something. I needed help. I don't know. An ambulance showed up. And I talking to the EMS worker, and he says, you want to get checked out? In the ambulance, I said, yeah, okay, fine, check me out. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. Get out of the car, hop up in the ambulance, sit down on the stretcher, lay back, and then they start with the blood pressure, and a million questions and stuff like that. And he goes, well, you appear a little dehydrated. He goes, I'm going to give you an IV. So I said, okay, fine. So I roll up my shirt, and the other guy's pricking my finger for blood sugar. And this guy shoots me up with freaking Narcan. I'm like, what the hell? Now, if anyone knows about this stuff, which I guess it's like it flushes out your system or something. I don't know. From what I gather, you're supposed to sniff the stuff. It's supposed to be inhaled. You know, but they do have another way of doing it, which is shooting you up. But it's for people that are dead. You're overdosed, not alert and awake and coherent. So you have a tremendous weird reaction to this when you're awake, I guess. You know. So I felt like my chest was going to explode. I'm like, what the hell did you shoot me up? What are you doing, man? I'm just yelling at the guy. And he goes, I'm shooting you up with Narcan. Like that. He goes, I'm injecting you with Narcan. I said, what? I said, no. I said, Mom, I'm not on drugs. I said, what the hell's wrong with you? And the other guy, he starts sitting on me. The other guy's holding me down. They're holding me down. Stop resisting. Just go ahead. Just take it. He goes, how long have you been using drugs for? I said, what the hell are you talking about, man? Anyway, I stopped resisting. You know, there was no point. You know, they had me. Cornered. There was nothing I could do. The other one guy he was so freaking fat. Weighed about 350 pounds. You know, he's sitting on me. So, so after they do that and everything, I'm like, you guys are dead wrong for doing this to me, man. You're dead wrong. I said, I'm not a drug user. I said, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. He goes, oh, come on. We recognize who was going through withdrawals. Withdrawals? What the hell are you talking about? So anyway, here comes back faggot number 1. Okay? Highway patrol guy. Sticks his head in the door. What do we got, fellas? Oh, he just had a reaction to Narcan. Oh, really? I was, okay, what's your name, sir? I said, Joe Gibson. He goes, okay, I'm placing you under arrest for DUI. I said, what? I said, what are you talking about, man? He said, you didn't even see me in my car. I said, what are you talking about? So, anyway, he arrests me. He says, I want a blood sample for me, too. And he goes, you understand if you refuse a blood sample that, we'll just get one from you. We'll take it to the hospital and we'll forcibly get it from you. I said, go ahead, take it. Take my blood. I said, ain't nothing in there. I didn't care. I didn't have nothing in there. Takes my blood, and then he takes me down to the police station. They, and he lets me go. They let me go. So immediately I hire a lawyer, go to the bank, take out $3,000, go drive up to Winston-Salem and hire this attorney Hines. Got him off the internet. Just, did a random search on the internet. Said super lawyer or whatever the hell they call these. Super jackass, super robber. And I go up to his office, tell him the story, what happened. He goes, oh, don't worry, we'll beat this. Big talker, like they all do before they get your money. Well, I said, how much you want? And he says, well, I told you $2,500 on the phone. He goes, oh, I'm going to charge you $3,000 for this, So I take out $3,000 and count it out to him, pay him, and that's it. And now, as time goes on, nothing happens. This lawyer does nothing. Nothing. Matter of fact, he doesn't even show up the first time we go to court. And as time goes on, I'm going to court, back and forth, the court. And finally, I remember now, I'm running for public office here. Second time around now. This is the second time around now I'm running for public office. The first time, that's how long it's been dragging out for. And we go to court on April 1st, April Fool's Day, I guess. And he goes, I pled guilty for you today. He goes, you're going to take some community service, this and that, and for a couple other things, and we get put back on probation or something. I said, no, I'm not. I said, no, I'm not. No. And I said, you go back in there and you withdraw that plea. I said, I'm not taking that. He goes, oh, yes, you are. You're taking it. So I already did it. It's a done deal, he said. I said, it's not a done deal. I'm not doing it. He goes, well, it's up to the judge now. I said, like hell it is. Like hell. I said, I'm yelling at him in the middle of the hallway, man. I'm making a scene, actually. I said, man, you fix this. And I left the courthouse and I went home. I typed up a motion to dismiss, sent it over electronically to the clerk. And they stamped it, the file that they got printed out, I guess, and mailed me back a stamped one, and said it was filed with the clerk. And a year later, there's a warrant out for my arrest for failure to appear and a $25,000 bond. And that's a quick logistics of the story on what happened and where I'm at right now. Now, a lot's happened in between. I've ran for public office. They labeled me a Nazi. They've investigated me. Have private investigators following me around. The GOP here. I mean, I'm sure all you guys heard all these stories when I'm talking over the last year, you know, and the corruptness and what they do and how they do things. So this is where I stand right now on this. I'm going to let you know something right now. I'm not going to go back to jail. I'm not going to jail. I'm not going. I did nothing wrong. I'm innocent. And I brought up the Good Samaritan laws, actually, which for you real quick. Let me touch base on that. In North Carolina, if you're having a medical episode or a drug reaction or overdosing on drugs, they have something called the Good Samaritan laws. It makes you, the person who calls 911 and the person that's using drugs, immune from certain prosecutions. Okay, obviously this would fall under that prosecution because I was having a reaction. So you're immune from prosecution. Look it up. It's true. So that's what I filed my motion to dismiss under, because it was a false arrest, and the state trooper should have known better. And especially taking my blood after they shot me up with Narcan, knowing now the evidence is tainted. You know? So that's where it stands right now on that scenario of what's going on. Now, if there's any questions, so you were on drugs, somebody says in the chat room. I guess I was. I don't know. Was I using them? No. But I was obviously had drugs in my system. Somebody says I'm on drugs. I wasn't out partying. I got in contact with them, obviously, supposedly. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. It was in my, I guess, you know, I don't know. What can I tell you? I mean, I bought 28 grams of crystal meth. It was an hour before it happened. Don't you think maybe I touched some of this stuff or something? I mean, some of it got in my system maybe? I mean, fentanyl. I bought a bunch of fentanyl. I mean, you know, if you touch a tiny little bit of that stuff, it can kill you. I mean, you know, so I got exposed to it. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. Why else did I get sick? Why did I get sick? As soon as I lit up a cigarette, you know, I'm on my way home cruising. You know, I lit up a cigarette. And I was like, "Whoa, I'm getting different." You know, let's play a cigarette, man. You know, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe something was in my cigarette pack. I guess maybe some of it broke off. I mean, it fell out of the bag or something in my cigarette pack. Stuffed some of it in there when I bought it, and I'm the undercover buyer. So, you know, what do you want me to say? I mean, that's the truth. Am I guilty of DUI? No, I am not. I am not according to the law. You have to have intent. Okay, you have got to look at the law and the statute and what it says. I did not break the law. Okay, I'm innocent. And besides, I'm immune from prosecution in several different ways. Number one, okay, you're telling me if a police officer is arresting somebody and he gets exposed to drugs, he gets arrested for drug possession because he's high? Now he's high because he got exposed to drugs? No, you can't do that, man. There has to be some sort of, people help me out here. I mean, somebody's got to be able, any suggestions on what I've said? What would you do? What do you think? What laws do you think protect you? What would you do in my situation right now? I mean, how would you handle it? I mean, first of all, this is, you know, like I said, this is money. What do you say? What somebody says, he was F up, feel sorry for me, but I gotta run. What are you talking about? I feel sorry. I can't understand what he's saying in the chat room there. What's he saying? So it's my fault, you're saying? So I'm in the wrong here? Is that what you're saying? I'd go to court and turn myself in. Yeah, you would, huh? You would. You'd go to court and turn yourself in? Yeah. You know what happened on September 21st, 2021? When I got attacked in there, didn't you hear the story about me getting handcuffed to the grate on the floor and getting my pumped into the floor? You would go turn yourself in? You know? You know, so I don't think so. Everyone talks a good one, but until you're put in that situation and you're locked up in there, you know, like the prison gangsters out there who everyone's a big tough guy, but when you're in that prison rec yard, let me tell you something, you ain't so tough, you know. So where was this at? What was what at, Ron? What are you talking about? Where was what at? What are you talking about? I'm reading the chat room, folks. People on the phone line, in case you don't wonder who I'm talking to. I'm talking to people in the chat room. I wouldn't have been a snitch either. A snitch, huh? So I'm a snitch, huh? I'm a snitch, huh? So all cops are snitches, huh? All cops. And I was on the payroll, too. I was being paid for what I was doing. So, yes, I was working for the DEA, actually, Drug Enforcement Agency. So, and that's a snitch, huh? I'm a snitch because I'm trying to rid drugs out of my neighborhood. I'm a snitch, huh? Law enforcement. So let's legalize fentanyl then. Let's legalize all drugs. Why drugs are okay in our community, right? Well, let's see your family member get hooked on fentanyl. Let's see what happens to them. You know, I mean, let you get, you know, hey, if that's the kind of society you want to live in, it ain't gonna be my society though. I'll tell you that right now. I'm against drugs. They're bad. It's bad for the community, and they're wrong. And if you want to use drugs, it screws people's lives up. It destroys their lives. You know? So, a snitch. I'm a snitch. Yeah, right. You guys would be the first one to tell on something. What are you talking about? Yeah, these people, these are the people, see, this is the people that we get out there. These are the instigators out there. These are the people that want to instigate, and they don't believe in doing something that you know. Look, let's put it this way, folks. How many of you got the courage to do what I did? How many of you got the courage to stand out there and go, I mean, to work undercover? How many of you guys would walk into a criminal drug stash house, you know, house? How many would you walk into a trap house, huh, by yourself? And if they found out my identity got revealed, I'd be killed, huh? How many people out there could do that? You know, so for anyone to criticize me or put me down, you know, or say that I'm, or, you know, these are the gangsters out there that don't have any courage, that just really should be ashamed of themselves for even criticizing me. Because first of all, I saved a lot of lives, actually 19,000 people's lives, actually. You know, I did, but I was buying. Yeah, well, you're breaking the law, you know. I got to take a quick commercial, guys. I got something, I got to check on one call here that's coming in. It's going to be a guest, a special guest I got coming in here tonight. So give me a few minutes, 2 minutes. I'll be right back, all right?
It looks like the sand people did this all right. Look, the Scaffy, sticks, Panther tracks. I never heard of them hitting anything this big before.
They didn't, but we are meant to think they did. These tracks are side by side. Sand people always ride single file to hide their numbers.
These are the same Jawas that sold us our 2 and 3 PO.
And these last points, too accurate for sand people. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
But why would Imperial troops want to slaughter Jawas? If they traced the robots here, then they have learned who they sold them to, and that would lead them back home.
Oh, way too! It's too dangerous! You know this is not to pass away. Well, I present the possibility.
Okay, all right. That's somebody there. I got scheduled up line of a guest. Actually, that's going to be a good guest. I'm trying to get him on for today, but. And then I got another one for November 26th. I got that this spiritual advisor coming on November 26th. Anyway, so you guys, some of you have been sending me messages about that. So anyway, okay. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat room here. All right, 657-383-0616. I'll take phone calls. I did, but I was buying. Someone says, okay, well, you were breaking the law, you know. I mean, you know, you want to break the law, so you don't respect the laws of this country. You know, being a lawbreaker. I mean, that's on you. I mean, I'd go to court and turn myself in. Here's one here talking about they're going to turn themselves and then the side of their neck to talk about breaking the law. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. What were the blood results? I'm in the queue. I mean, you're in the queue, Ron. Well, where are you in the queue? I don't see you. I mean, press 1. I mean, people, you know, I don't see you guys. Unless the 1 isn't working. I'm not sure. Well, eventually, what I'm going to do is listen. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to get a lawyer. Obviously, I have to hire another lawyer, and of course, it's going to cost me money. that I don't have. And, I have to fork out another couple $1,000 and try to get a lawyer to handle this and get rid of it. I mean, I didn't commit a murder here, but they're acting like it. Again, corruption. I filed a motion to dismiss already. Why wasn't that motion ruled upon? Why wasn't that ruled upon? Why do they get to ignore it? This is corruption, folks, because, this is what's so serious about this is that, I file a motion. The courts are corrupt. They're not following the law, the rules, their own rules. Somebody told me if they don't get you a procedure, they'll get you with the law. And when you beat them with the law, they get you a procedure. So, if we can't get justice in our courts and our voting systems don't work, like I said, they do this to somebody else. What happens? Where do we stand here in our republic? What do you want to do? I'm calling for action for people to get involved. Ron Reck, where are you in the queue? You said you're in the queue. I don't see you in the queue anywhere. Well, maybe he's just screwing around. He's on the queue. I don't know. So I got a couple of private callers there that on there too, and then I see my friend there from Connecticut. I don't know if he wants to talk or not. I don't want to unmute him because I don't know if he's pressing 1 or not. So I don't know if he wants to jump in here and have a conversation with me about this or not. So I don't see my usual guest out there tonight, so that's fine. I got a couple new callers on the line, so I understand if you don't want to press 1. I don't like unmuting people if you're not trying. I don't know if the 1 is working or not. Press 1 if it's working. I don't know. I don't like unmuting people. I know other podcasters, they do that. They'll just unmute you, but I don't like doing that unless you want to talk. So cause I know some people just like to listen, and I don't like cause I know a couple times I'll call into a podcast show and just listen, and they'll unmute me, and then that means they hear all the noise in the background. So anyway, like I said, I called the clerk, so it's $25,000 bond. So obviously, you got to pay 7% of that. You got to get a bond. So that's money you're just throwing away now. It's gone. You won't get it back. There's a lot more. There's a little bit more to this case too, in how they screwed up my records, and I had a probation officer that was corrupt. I don't know where to begin with that. He has you sign the conditions of your probation. This is, oh, by the way, I got a warrant for your arrest in my, his back pocket. It's just totally crazy how they do things, man. But I'm looking for this motion to dismiss here, which was filed. And again, this is 9 months old now. This motion to dismiss, and this protects me on the Good Samaritan laws. I brought up the Good Samaritan laws in this motion to dismiss. I'm trying to find a damn thing, and then of course I can't find it. She says it's in the prosecutor's mailbox, in the judge's mailbox. Well, here it is, right here. Why was there not a ruling on this? I'm in district court. Let's see, Rocky, I'm in district court on this. I thought it was Superior there. It covers. I'll just read a couple paragraphs of this motion to dismiss. A statement of facts. Says comes now Joseph Gibson, defendant in the above captioned case, through undersigned counsel, respectfully moves the honorable court to dismiss the charges against him. The defendant contends that the charges of driving under the influence, DUI, lack probable cause, and that his actions in seeking medical assistance qualify for protection under the North Carolina Good Samaritan law. Furthermore, the forcible administration of Narcan and subsequent demand for a blood sample by law enforcement violated defendant's Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable searches and seizures. So a statement of facts, we already went over a statement of facts. I already told you guys the story of what happened. That's what I put in here, basically. The legal argument is a Good Samaritan law, North Carolina General Statute 90-21-14. The state provides immunity from liability for individuals who render first aid or emergency treatment to an unconscious, ill, or injured person without compensation. That's what this law says. The law states that such individuals should not be liable for damages unless gross negligence, wanton conduct, or intentional wrongdoing is established on their part. In the present case, Joseph Gibson, experiencing a medical emergency, acted in good faith by pulling over and seeking assistance. The EMS worker administered Narcan without Gibson's knowledge, and Gibson's subsequent actions were a result of the treatment received. So the immunity granted by the Good Samaritan law should extend to Gibson, protecting him from criminal repercussions for seeking medical help. Safety Statute, NC General Statutes 20-140, Section 8. All right, the charge of reckless driving, wanton disregard, is governed by this statute also. So, and then I go on more about what legal argument here. You know, the obviously the Fourth Amendment protects individuals from unreasonable search and seizures. Case law, California, 384 U.S. 757. I don't know why it gave me that one. The case established the extingent circumstances or exception to the warrant required for drawing blood. I addressed that issue. And then insufficient evidence pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 15A 1227, defendant asserts that there is insufficient evidence to sustain a conviction. The state must prove essential element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt. The evidence presented by the state fails to establish that Mr. Gibson committed the alleged offense of DUI and reckless driving. So, and it goes on and on a little bit more about the Good Samaritan law. I put down the minutes and everything and what it means, and then one more case law, on this State versus Hill, State versus Bruce, and Barnes versus Perry. There's the North Carolina cases that by the North Carolina Supreme Court that back up my defense in the good. No, this is a good motion right here. This is a good motion. Why was this not ruled upon? Why? Because if they deny my motion, then I could take it to the appellate court. I can go up the ladder. And I stayed, and I would stay the prosecution. It stays the prosecution. Instead, what they do is they ignore my motion, and then they put out an arrest for failure to appear. So this way here, they can hem me up, get me when I'm not knowing, and I have none of my paperwork, get me in there in my freaking underwear, and handcuffs, and get me in front of a judge, and I got no legs to stand on, and I can't fight my case, because that's how they do you. And that's how they get many people, millions of people in this country today. And this is a serious problem we have in this country, a major problem. And I don't see why people are not pissed off about this, why we're not stopping this, why we're not fighting against this. Where the hell is the American spirit at? Where the hell is the American people at? What's wrong with you people? I mean, for God's sake, what's it take? What's it going to take to get people riled up? Okay, y'all went to the damn polls and voted. The game's not over yet. The war's not over. The fight has just begun. Rise up, for God's sake, people. Stand up. Where's the Patriots at? Where are you at? Why are we letting situations like this happen to me and happen to many other people around the country, and we're not standing up against it? We're not preaching against it. We're not talking about it. This should be the conversation every single breakfast place in the country. Instead we're talking about yesterday's football game. What the hell's wrong with us? I mean, come on, man. Are we finished as a country? Are we all done? I mean, like I said, I'm not going back. I'm not going to jail. I'm not going in there. I'm not going back to let them get me again. I'm going to be able to fight. I want to stand on my 2 feet and fight back. When they get you in there, you can't fight back. You're done. There's no way to fight back when you're in jail. You're handcuffed. You're done. You're finished. Once you're in there, people forget about you and you're all done. There's no fighting. You cannot fight. There's no due process. It's just court trip after court trip after court trip after court trip, and they wear you down until you plead guilty, and then you're stuck in there. And you're up there in a freaking prison, sitting in a concrete box all day long, staring at the walls, doing nothing, learning how to become a better criminal. That's what jail is. The fittest, the strongest survive. That's what it's all about. That's your Department of Correction. That's your industrial prison complex. Okay? That's where we send our kids who get in trouble today. We should be ashamed of ourselves allowing this to happen. And it's year after year, day after day, and nothing changes because we continue to allow this to happen. What's happening to other people, what's happening to the guy next door, that's happening right now. Somebody's being pulled over and their rights are being violated. And we as Americans are not doing anything about it. We drive by and we watch that person get pulled over, handcuffed and kidnapped, taken to jail, and we do nothing about it unless it affects our own tiny little world that we live in, because our tiny little world is so big to us and it's so important. But what happens to the guy next door, it doesn't matter, does it? Until it happens to you. Well, it's going to happen to you. I'm going to tell you that right now. It will happen to you one day. And then it's too late. Because right now it's already too late because your voices don't matter. They don't matter. That Donald Trump was elected. Oh, whoopie-doo-dah. Okay, we'll see what happens. But still, you still got a long ways to go. We got a big fight ahead of us. And unless we fight locally, it doesn't matter what happens on the national stage. It does not matter because our local politics are ruined. And we've got to fight back. I don't know what else to say to motivate people over all these years on these podcasts, trying to motivate people, get them going, all the stories we exposed, all the things we talked about. Have we gotten any victories yet? Well, we woke up the country and we voted back Trump in. Okay, that's fine. But like I said, if we make the same mistakes and we continue not to do anything locally, then it's all for naught. None of it matters. You know? Where's my usual crew at that were supposed to be here every single Tuesday? Where are they at? We advertised the show. Where are they at? Sleeping? You know? Where's the usual fan base at that's usually here? What's the matter? I'm not playing games tonight. I'm not putting my neck out on the line for everybody. I'm not calling the politicians tonight. You know, sacrifice. Where's my Republic friends at that I fought hard and for over all these years, trying to restore the Republic? Where are they at? Governor, self-proclaimed governors. Where are you at? Big talk. All that. It's just a stage. The world is all it is. That's all people want is a microphone to talk and put a show on for everybody. It's entertainment. American Idol. That was a perfect show for this country. That's all we do is idol worship. That's all we do. That's all we care about. Is ourselves. You know? And God's going to deal with you, trust me. When the time comes, when it's all said and done, when you're on your deathbed, you're going to have a lot to reflect back on. And trust me, I had 2 near-death experiences. So let me tell you something. It's pretty scary when you're about ready to die. All right? And you don't know where you're going. I'm going to tell you that right now. You better know where you're going. Because hell is a long, long eternity, a long trip to stay at. And you better be sure you're going to heaven. And I don't care what you believe or what you don't believe. It doesn't really matter what you believe. It only matters what we know. And what we know is true and what's going to happen. And we know what's going to happen because those 2 dates in between on your headstone there, it's a short time compared to eternity. So you better wake up. And like I said, whatever happens to me, I'm going to survive this one way or another. You know? I mean, if they kill me, they kill me. Oh, well. And you guys can all laugh about it later on or whatever, or you hear about me on the news dead or something. Hey, that's fine. Just remember, you're next. You're next. Next up. Because they're coming for you, too. If we allow this to happen to one American, then we've allowed it to happen to ourselves and everyone else around us. No one should be allowing these types of things to happen. No matter right or wrong, the law is the law, and due process is due process. And if they violate one man's rights, they violated everyone's rights. And that's the problem we've had in this country today. Is none of us are standing up for each other and fighting for each other like we should be. And nobody cares, really. I mean, yeah, you got some good people out there who are trying to do what's right. And, you know, all I can do is say this, you know, a call to action for everyone out there who wants to get involved is everyone knows how to get in contact with me, and everyone knows about the problems that they face in their local community. You know, and how many people have asked me for, you know, over the years, you know, people getting jammed up or whatever. Oh, what about this? What about this? You know, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, here I am busting my ass every single day trying to help people. And where does it really get me? Because, you know, when I need help, nobody's there. You know, I mean, how many people throughout the years I mean, people are on this phone line right now that know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, look at all the time, too, wasted in prison and the time trying to stop bad things from happening. You know, look at all the other people that have done work, undercover work. Look at Joe Pistone from the Donnie Brasco case. I mean, look at that guy, 6.5 years undercover. 6.5 years. You know, his life's ruined. He can't go out and be an agent no more. He can't go out and do nothing. He's ruined. His whole life. He's got to look over his shoulder for the rest of his life. I mean, and you're going to tell me that's a coward? I'd say that's the bravest son of a bitch around, man. You know, I'd hate to go toe-to-toe with him. You know, that takes courage right there to do what he did. I mean, and he worked against a lot of bad people. You know, and you know what? The guys at the top, they respect him. You want to know why? Because he beat us. That's what they say. He beat us. He was smarter than us. You know, and that's called respect. But you got the assholes out there, like I get on my show. You know, the people out there, like I said, a couple of people. Oh, you're a snitch. Yeah. Tell it to my face. Tell it to my face. Nobody would. I mean, you know how many people have ever told that to my face? I can't. None. They always say it over the phone or through a computer or through or you know, something like that, or an email. They never say it to my face. You know? You ever notice that? I mean, it's all talk. And that's the problem with this internet age that we're coming into today. It created a back door for cowards to run away. You know? People get to run away and hide. And that's what the internet created. Because before, you know, you couldn't do that. You know, if you had something to say to somebody, you had to say it, you know, and if you ran fast enough, you were able to get away. That's what people, you know, it created cowards, a generation of cowards. And that's a shame. That's really a shame. You know, well, I think it was on the show what we were talking about, the greatest generation of people that stormed the beaches. What the hell show was that we were doing, man? And they said, well, the trolls were attacking my show. And he said, they were definitely not the type that would be storming the beaches today. No, definitely not. Definitely not. You know? But what happened to me, again, like I said, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to drag it out for. You know, I just typed up another motion to quash and for appropriate relief. So that's what the process I have to go under and by. So I'll get the paperwork rolling on that and see where it takes me. But in the meantime, I can't really do much. I got to be careful what I do. I got to watch my back even worse now. You know, it takes its toll on somebody. I mean, you know, because like I said, I'm not going back. I'm not. No way. They're not going to get me like that. They're not going to get me into a bad situation like I was before. No way. I mean, if I was guilty, I would do the time. If I was guilty. If I broke the law, then, you know, you do the crime, you got to do the time. I'm all for that. You know, if I was wrong, then I got to own up to it. But when you're right, what do you do then? Who's fighting for me? Who's standing up for me? What, you know? See if we can get any messages here. I got from one person to call in, actually. I don't know if he's trying to get in or not. I can't see my text messages, so. Oh, let's see here. Let's take a caller here. Let's take some callers. I've been yakking long enough here. Go ahead. 214. 214. You're on.
Yeah, I'm here. I just had my mic muted. It's Gunslinger. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, you know, it's a terrible situation what you're going through and what they put me through. I don't know how many warrants for arrest do you have at this time?
I only got one right now. I only got one, failure to appear.
Well, I got
$25,000 bond for one. $25,000 for one warrant for failure to appear. Can you believe that? Yeah.
Well, yeah. With this fucked up judicial system, I'll believe anything. But a few years ago, before I got over here, I had 21 warrants for my arrest.
Wow.
I got you beat.
Wow.
Okay. 21 warrants. And you know what they was for? Let's see. I still got copies of them in my filing cabinet over there. Illegally parking on your grass.
Oh, my Lord.
All grass. I live
my
in
Lord.
Agricultural area. There was fields that had 5 feet of Johnson grass in them. Okay? Surrounded my property. Junk and debris, which was a lot of stuff below the house to the shop area because I was a master electrician contractor. Okay? You know, I had a lot of goddamn, electrical equipment, tools and equipment and all kinds of shit. Oh, yeah, they had $9,000 in fines for my ass. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, 9,000. So it was unpaid fines. So you had unpaid fines basically, and that's what. And they came up with 21 warrants.
Yeah. 21 warrants.
Wow.
Yeah, $9,000 in fines.
Well, what was the end result? What was the end result?
Well, I went to jail almost 9 months total over them son of bitches.
Wow.
Okay. Almost 9. Okay. Off and on. It wasn't full. I mean, it wasn't. Oh, hell yeah, I was pissed off. You know, that's why earlier, that's why I hung the mayor in effigy. You know, I don't know if you've seen that picture, but I hung that cocksucker up at the front of my property.
Hey, listen. Somebody said in the chat room. Hey, Gunslinger, hang on. Somebody said in the chat room, you can't file a motion to dismiss if the judge sentenced you. He didn't sentence me. The judge didn't sentence me. Weren't you paying attention? I did not get sentenced. He entered a plea of guilty. That's it. I didn't get sentenced yet. So, I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway. All right, go ahead there, Gunslinger.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I made front page, and I still got the article and the picture where I hung the mayor in effigy. The little bastard lost the fucking election that year. And hold and behold, in this county that I live in right now, which is right next to Dallas County, he's a tax assessor collector down here. Same person.
Wow.
Can you believe that crooked bastard? Yeah. Went from mayor to tax collector. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I believe it.
So, yeah.
Well, these people, and I understand that people, look, the bottom line is this, is people don't want to stand up and fight. They're cowards. That's the problem. We have a country filled with cowards. I mean, look, everybody's so happy to back Donald Trump because Donald Trump's going to do the fighting for him. That's what it's all about. They're not going to stand up. I mean, most people are not going to do anything.
Here's the problem with that. They're not necessarily cowards. I wouldn't call them cowards to a point. At the time when that was going on, I had enough fucking guns and ammunition to start off a little fucking war if I wanted to. Okay, I had 15,000 rounds of AK-47. Okay, now would that do me no good? It would do me no good because they outnumbered you.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 to 1. Yeah. So that would not be a very logical, smart move to try to have a shootout. Okay, the old Western shootout. Wouldn't have been very good.
Well, yeah, that's
Probably
suicide. That's suicide. That's suicide to engage these people. It's suicide.
That's suicide. But that's what people are scared of because they have the numbers and they have the guns on their side, unfortunately. Okay? And us people out here, I mean, you try to go up against them. Look at what they did to the Branch Davidians down there in Waco, Texas down there.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with their religious aspects or anything like that. But they were just down there minding their own goddamn business, okay? And they came in there and murdered most of them, the government.
Yeah.
FBI, ATF, and all that bullshit. So
what do you recommend I do? What do you recommend? What do you recommend I do? What do you recommend? That's what I want to hear people say. What would you recommend I do in all seriousness? It's jerks and whatever out there with their smart-ass comments. But in all seriousness, what would you do?
Well, if I was able to, I'd move out of that state. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to get with Ron because he's more of a legal expert than I am. Okay, on how to resend your signature and do all this garbage. Okay. And the best thing is to get it away from them. Okay, I hate to say it.
Yeah.
but to get away from them, because they could anytime they could come down there and completely surround where you are with guns drawn. That's what they did to me. I had fucking 12 fucking cops in my fucking driveway, carrying fully automatic weapons, by the way. Okay, surrounding me, and I'm just a little short little fucker. I'm 5'9", 150 fucking pounds, dripping wet. But they had to send the capo for us. You know what I mean? It's totally stupid. It's so fucking stupid. It's not even funny. Okay, but like I said, what comes around goes around. A little excerpt on that. But when we got over here where I'm at now, I was just cruising the internet one time about 8 months later after that, and I was just looking at the news articles and everything. And up here in a little town north of Dallas, it's called Rockwall, Texas. There was a Dallas County constable that got killed, okay, in a head-on collision. I mean, in a head-on collision on 30 up here, okay? And I showed his picture, and I said, oh, my God, that's that motherfucker that put that goddamn automatic gun in my face when I got illegally foreclosed on after that. Yeah, that was one of them. That little bastard, he pointed a goddamn fully automatic gun in my face. And you know what I did? I clapped. Good enough for you, motherfucker. Okay.
Let me take another caller here. Let's see, private caller here. We'll connect them. Yeah, Justice. Yeah, I would celebrate too. Go ahead, private caller.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go ahead on and celebrate the waning days of Blog Talk Radio and have some good conversation, man. What do you say?
Well, yeah, my last days too. Why not? My last days maybe to life. You never know.
Well, I heard what y'all were talking about now, and look, man, what happens when any unit, because military history is my thing, man. You get encircled with no possibility of resupply, and you're cut off from outside help. What always happens? Alamo, Cameroon with the foreign legionnaires, the Sixth Army at Stalingrad, I don't care what it is. There's only one way it comes out. It always comes out the same way in the end. And you know what that is.
Well, so how do you get justice then?
That's what I'm about to talk about. That's what I'm about to talk about. Look, I've served a lot of warrants that were out of state. They had nothing to do with the state of Illinois. They were warrants that were out of state. Come across a guy, make a stop, find he's got a warrant from another jurisdiction. Now, you can leave the state, and it's not often that they will serve beyond geographical limits on a DUI warrant, because most of those things like that have a geographical limit beyond a certain mileage. They don't want to, if you stop the guy, they won't serve the warrant. They won't enforce the warrant. So whenever we pick up somebody, we check the issuing authority, wherever it was in the state or the world, because we had a couple international warrants too. They say if they still wanted to pick them up, and if they did, well, we took them down to jail, and the jail was Cook County Jail, and Cook County Jail charged the issuing authority for whatever it cost to house them until they sent somebody down to pick them up, or made arrangements and have them shipped back to whatever jurisdiction they were in. So it depends. Now, I don't know if North Carolina has a geographical limit on warrants. You might want to check to see if they do on driving under the influence. If they don't, then leaving the state might keep that warrant from being served on you. But if you ever go back to North Carolina, you're subject, of course, to arrest. So the warrant will be outstanding until, I don't care how long it is, as long as they issue it in a timely fashion, they can enforce that warrant at any time in the future. So
really?
You pay your money and it takes your choice.
Yeah, well,
because you're a fugitive from the warrant. Look, if they don't serve the warrant, you're a fugitive from the warrant. I mean, the time doesn't stop tolling. So that's why I said earlier, when I talked to you about this earlier, Joe, I said, look, man, the best thing to do is for you to contact a lawyer, make all the arrangements you can for you to surrender, so you ain't got to spend no time in jail, so you can put up bond or whatever, and you ain't got to spend a whole lot of time in jail. Make sure your lawyer gets the ironclad agreement. He said, my client intends to surrender. We just like to arrange everything so he doesn't spend a lot of time in jail until he gets another court date. That's probably the best thing for you to do.
Don't they have a statute of limitations on stuff
yes,
like
they
that?
do, but not once a warrant's been issued. No. That warrant can stay in the system forever. It's a statute of limitations if they don't begin prosecution. No, the statute of limitations.
What about my motion to dismiss? What?
Those are things. Now you're talking about things you have to bring up in court. How do you get a court date to do that? You surrender yourself to get the process started. You see, your motion to dismiss could win. It might get you off, but it's never going to get you off if you don't surrender to the warrant. None will ever get started. So look,
I ain't got
I'm
the
just
money
saying,
right now, man, for lawyers
well,
and everything.
I understand that,
$3,000 for this guy already. $3,000 for a lawyer already.
Have you tried any legal aid services?
No, I don't qualify for that.
No. I'm not talking about with the state. I'm talking about with some private entities. Some of them don't have necessarily an income limit. It depends. That's why you might just want to start with look up legal aid services. Just start calling them one by one.
Yeah.
Because what I'm just saying, man, look, this is a statute of limitations, but that's only when they don't know who it is and they haven't begun any legal process against the person. If you commit, like, say, a rape, and they never identify you as the rapist in any way, shape, form, or fashion, after 8 years or whatever it is, the statute of limitation, if you ain't been prosecuted, identified, or served with some sort of judicial process started against you, then what they say that the time for that statute is told and you can never be prosecuted for it. At least not criminally.
Yeah.
So, but they got you, man. They got a warrant. That means the judge entered probable cause to have you arrested. He entered it formally as a warrant. That means they've started legal proceedings. So essentially, you're a fugitive from the warrant. You know how it is when you're a fugitive. I mean, the U.S. Marshal can find you 20 years later.
Yeah. Well.
So I'm just saying, man, I think the best thing for you to do is, I know, borrow some money or something, get a lawyer to arrange your surrender, and to get another court date. You've already got a motion to dismiss that was already filed, right?
Yeah, a year ago.
All right, well, that's still okay. Well, that hasn't been adjudicated. So I mean, you probably got a shot on with that. I know I'm not a lawyer. I know I shouldn't give you legal advice, but I've seen this shit a lot of times. I know one thing. Warrant ain't. Look, Joe, the warrant ain't gonna go away. That I know. I don't need to be a lawyer for that. The warrant ain't going away. It's going to stay in that system from now until doomsday.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you, man. But I can't get no justice in this court. I'm not going to win anything, man. I'm not going to win nothing, And then the safety issue.
You sure they ain't going to win nothing, man, if they pick you up on the damn thing. And like I said, I don't know if they got a geographical limit. North Carolina does on DUI warrants, even if you leave the state.
Yeah, they do.
Remember, if they don't have, they do.
Yeah,
a geographical limit on
a misdemeanor. Yeah, misdemeanor DUI, they will not, level 1, it's level 1, the most least of the infractions, they will not extradite.
Okay, well, you leave the state, you're going to be pretty much immune. You ain't going to worry. But remember, if you go back, they can still get you on it.
Yeah, but I own home. I own home. I own property. I mean, geez, man. Uproot and everything is going to kill me, I mean, man, it's ridiculous, to uproot everything.
No, let me understand this now. You haven't been convicted on these charges they got on you, have you?
No, it's only reckless driving and DUI.
I
want to take it to trial. I want to take it.
So they give you, but you
wouldn't do it.
But you never got a sentence on it or anything like that.
No, there's no sentence.
Okay, fine. Your motion to dismiss might have some legs.
Yeah, but now they got $25,000 bond, man. You know, there's another $3,000 I got to, throw away.
I know what you mean, man. Look, Joe. What is your alternative? You're not. And look, the warrant is not going away, Joe. If you want to stay in North Carolina, you're going to be a marked man. You got to keep looking over your shoulder from now until you leave this mortal coil.
Yeah. No,
like I said, man, the thing to do is get yourself an attorney and arrange your surrender on the warrant so you can put up your bail. You can spend a minimum amount of time in a who's cow until you get another trial date.
Yeah, well, you're talking now attorney and bail. You're looking at $5,000-$6,000 right off the bat, right? The holiday time, I ain't got that kind of money to throw away on that right now. You know.
Well, you're gonna have to put up a lot more money if they get you on that warrant, pal. I'm telling you right now.
They already got me. You know, I tell you.
I know. I'm saying, but if they arrest you in an encounter, you will make arrangements. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Yep.
So I'm saying, man, the only real viable options you got is either leave the state or surrender on that warrant with a lawyer arranging your surrender.
I surrender, Sarge. If I surrender and I don't make bail, I'll be stuck in there for 9 to 10 months probably before I get a trial date.
That's why you have a lawyer to make this. That's why you have a lawyer to try to make those arrangements. That doesn't happen. If you get picked up on a warrant,
that's exactly that paid. Where the hell is he?
Yeah, but that's exactly what's going to happen to you, Joe. You're going to be stuck in jail for 9 months.
Well, I already got a lawyer. I already paid. Where the hell is he at? Where the hell is he at? Why can't I get a hold of him? You know, he's a son of a bitch and bastard, this son of a bitch. You know?
Well, look, man, I'm just telling you, man. I ain't never seen a warrant.
You don't understand, though.
I'm just telling you, man. I ain't never seen a warrant go away. I've never seen a warrant go away. They don't go away.
Well, you can get it quashed. You can get. I could file. I could file a quash.
Yeah, but you gotta go through the judicial system for that.
Well, Sarge, I understand that, but then you have to understand. I have children. I can't take that money. Now I'll have to just go in and I'll have to sit in jail for a year now.
Hey, man, you frying pan of fire. You better take your pick between the frying pan and the fire.
You know, I got to sit in jail for a freaking year. And that's what they'll do to me, too. And then a safety issue. They already tried to kill me once when I was in there. See, Sarge, you're not reading between the lines here. You know, I go in there.
Are you planning to leave the state? Are you planning to stay in North Carolina?
I can't say right now. I'm doing.
I will tell you what. If you're planning to stay in North Carolina,
right now.
You see, they've already tried to send an early morning raid to get you.
Yeah, well, I'm not there. I'm not there right now, so they can't. You know, I'm safe where I'm at right now. But
hey, man, let me tell you something. Them guys. Every department has got a fugitive apprehension unit or warrant unit.
Oh, I know.
I know. They put their most dogged bulldogs on that. Those are the kind of guys.
Sarge, I worked for them. I know. Sarge, I worked undercover. I know.
You know what I'm talking about then. So I'm just saying, man. Would you find the resources you need to take care of this thing and surrender on it, rather than you being picked up in some encounter with law enforcement on their terms.
Yeah. No, I understand that. That's the position I'm putting yes, I understand that. I'm trying to make arrangements to do that. You know? But you remember, you have to have all your ducks, like you said, lawyer, money, cash, bondsman ready, lined up.
Yep.
It's time. That's what I got to do.
Like I keep saying, man, frying pan fire, take your pick.
Yeah. No, I got that. You know?
Or leave
what I'm trying to do, Sergeant, is this. What I'm trying to do is this. I'm already going. I'm not even near where they can get me right now. But anyway, listen. What I'm trying to say is this: is that I'm trying to address the issue of they violated my rights. You know, how can we get this addressed where it doesn't happen again to other people? This isn't right. They should not get away with breaking the law themselves.
Well, maybe so, Joe. But right now, your priority has got to be you, and so you can take care of your family. Don't worry about the bigger picture right now, because that you can become a call celeb when they lock you up, maybe, but you won't want to get locked up, do you?
Well, that's what I'm going to end up.
Tell you, man, take care of this thing. Take care of this thing. I mean, it's one thing to rage against the system. Wait a minute, it's one thing to rage against the system when you got a secure position. But man, but getting picked up on a warrant, you are utterly insecure.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay,
I know.
so I'm just
well,
saying,
I am secure right
take
now.
Take care
I'm
of it in some official manner, or leave the state if they got a geographical limit on warrants.
Yeah. No, I know. Trust me, I've covered my bases. I know what's going on right now, where I'm at, but I can't stay in the current situation.
Well, you asked what you can do. I can't think of anything else you can do other than maybe go out in a blaze of glory. I don't know. You don't want to do that, do you?
No.
Okay,
I'm not
well,
do
let's
that.
forget that then. Let's forget that then, and let's talk about what you can do to get off the hook with this thing.
No, I'm not going to put other people's lives in jeopardy. That's not right. That's
good,
wrong.
Good.
You know?
So then, again, that leaves you to work through the system to get this thing resolved to your maximum benefit.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to raise alertness, number one, while I'm doing this, and and of course, make sure I got. Look, I already know how much money I'm going to need, what I got to do, and stuff like that. The problem is, like I said, I just can't take everything out of the bank, be destitute just to pay the courts. I can't do that, because I got nothing to fall back on then. You just can't do it. So I have to prepare myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to prepare myself.
How much money can you make if you're indefinitely imprisoned?
Well, I understand that, Sergeant. You understand. You have to spend money to make money, and I can't take everything I have.
So you asked what could be done, Joe. And right now, I can't see anything other than maybe a pardon from the governor. What else are you going to do?
No, that was my
plan. Governor, man. I mean, you have to go through the system.
Oh, I know, and I'm going to. I'm going to go through the system. I just got to be ready. Like I said, you got to remember, it's easy to say, but back a year ago, I had 40 G's in the bank. No problem, but they've drained me. And then I ran a campaign that cost months. Right now, financially, I'm not stable right now. I got to get back on my feet. That's the problem I'm running into. They hit me at the worst time, and they know that. They came at me at the worst time, and they knew that. So I spent a lot of time campaigning. I was campaigning for other people, volunteering. You know what I mean? So it was, I'm politically active. They even said it on the news, what kind of person I am. So,
I understand things
I got to get my feet back.
But I understand things are tough.
Well,
but, it's going to be a whole lot tougher.
But
it's going to be a whole lot tougher if they pick you up on that warrant.
Well, I know. Sorry, that's not going to happen. I'm too smart for that, and I've already taken precautions. They're not going to just pick me up. I'm not going to see me at a gas station. That's not going to happen. But
I know you don't want to be.
I
know you don't want to be a refugee in your own state forever, do you?
No, of course not.
Well,
no.
What you gonna be?
I've looked at the options of relocating and doing all that stuff, but I just can't do it right now with way my family situation is and everything. I just can't do it. But yeah, I'll got to get my feet back underneath me, and it's probably gonna take a few weeks, maybe a month or so, and then bam, I'll go in there and straighten it all out. That's what I got to do. I understand what you're giving me is exactly what I'm going to do. I just can't do it right this second. You know what I mean? Just can't do it.
Well, okay. Well, that sounds a little better. At least you know you got to do it. That's really.
Yeah.
You only got two options out of this. Like I said, leave the state or surrender on the warrant with arrangements made, so it'll be the least disruptive to you.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying and everything. I get that. But, the problem is, too, is this is a good experience because now I know who my friends are out there. Because really it's a wake-up call. Because now you know who's there for you and who's not. And I like that in a way. Because now I can call out the fake sons of bitches and really, when it's all said and done, say, you weren't there. Get out of my face. Hey
man, we got the most famous. Look, we got the most famous example imaginable of how fucked up the system can be. His name is Donald John Trump. Now, yes, he had all these resources to fight it, but it just goes to show you, man, if they go after a guy like that, they're not afraid to go after. Well, let me not say they're not afraid to go after, but they are willing to go after anyone if they can jack up some bullshit like they did on Donald Trump, and all of it was bullshit. You see now what they did in New York with Marshawn. He's indefinitely staying the sentencing. That means apparently they're going to plan on going after him in 2009 when the presidency's over.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he's done. He's stayed. He didn't dismiss the case. He stayed it indefinitely. And like I said, they're going to wait till he's out of office probably, and then try to go after him in 2009. Yeah, I mean 28, 29, something like that. They're going to go after him then. But you know what you ought to do is strip him up. You ought to run for vice president because there's no constitutional limit on how many times you run for vice president. It says elected twice. No one shall be elected.
He don't want to go to jail. He don't want to go to jail either. He don't want to go to jail.
Wait, I want to make this clear. The Constitution says you can't be elected to the office of president twice. So he can be vice president, and if something happens to the president, he can assume the office because by way of secession. That ain't being elected.
Yeah.
So he keep waiting another, I don't know, 8 years.
Yeah, but Sarge, we're not waking up because of this. Because you just made a key point. They go after Donald Trump. They go after people. We've got to stop this in this country, man. It's got to stop.
Look, man, I think we're going to see that with this thing here, it sounds to me like Trump is pretty determined to rectify the wrongs in the judicial process that allowed him to be persecuted in the manner that he was. So I think this might open a floodgate of reform, not only in the federal government, but in many local jurisdictions as well.
Yeah. Let me take Bianchi, too, on here. So I think that's him. Go ahead there, buddy. What's going on?
Joe?
Yes.
Why in the hell are you discussing your perils on the air like this?
Because they bring attention.
If you did have a plan, everybody know it. Don't be discussing your shit on the air.
It's how to do. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out.
People already have heard what you said, those that give a damn, and it was going to offer any solace. They already know the perils that you have. I'll be discussing that stuff on the air.
Well, that's not true because I got new people on here tonight, Bianchi. I got some new people listening, and, listen. I understand what you're saying.
It on the air, Joe. You got conference calls and stuff like that. Hell, call on the phone.
Yeah, but Bianchi, how are we going to bring attention to it? How are we going to expose it? How are you going to expose it if we keep everything hidden? We can't keep it hidden.
Tell you what, I would like to, if you was going to expose it, it'd be best to expose it from a point of victory rather than a point of being on the lam. I'm telling you.
Well, I don't know about that because look, what happens to me is a good reflection of what happens to a lot of guys in the middle class, lower middle class type of brackets out there that are facing the judicial system that need help. And if we can't talk about it and we can't put our cases out there on Front Street so people know what's happening to us, then hell, we'll never fix anything. We'll never.
You damn right. The stuff goes on to people, black and white. Nobody never talks about. Nobody never talks about it.
Nope, never. And we got to get this crap out there, man. We got to expose this system for what it is. These courts are doing this to everybody across this country today, tomorrow, and the next day. And until we stop it,
like Sarge said, look at this crazy mess that's going on with Donald Trump. These people them two people have to be just plain lunatics, man. They are lunatics.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad.
And you have to stop being cordial and nice with them. The right thing, the holy thing to do. The hell with the holy thing to do. How in the hell are you going to be holy if somebody's trying to cut your damn head off?
Exactly. I mean, man, this is crazy. These judges out there, breaking the law every day, thinking they're above our state legislators. Going against the statutory requirements of the law, making their own rules. We got to stop this, man. People are suffering out there, people that, and people are dying, and we got to stop it. One loss of life. I mean, you only get one life, man. We're putting our lives in these people's hands.
Hey, Joe, you see what they're doing in Pennsylvania, don't you? That you see that crazy woman on the election board? She says, hey, she says, everybody else is disobeying the law. Well, we can break the law, too. I want to bring attention to this stuff. So we're going to count the ballots as illegal under state law and the state constitution to count. Yeah. I mean, that's what Democrats do. And then they're going to demand to hold you to the strictest scrutiny under the law. In fact, they're going to make some shit up that ain't got nothing to do with the law. But this dame over there in Lancaster, on the state election board over there in Pennsylvania, says that we can decide to disregard the law. We know we're disregarding the law, but we don't give a good goddamn.
Well, look at this damn preacher in Illinois. Look what he said. Then you got another mayor someplace up on the East Coast. I don't know. There's so many of them. You can't keep track of them. Saying they're going to disregard any attempts by the authorities to capture these damn illegals.
Yeah. What the hell's going on, man?
They can do that. But I tell you one thing, with Tom Homan and the rest of them, woe betide their asses if they obstruct the federal government in their attempt to remove illegals. Yeah, they might not have to cooperate, but let's if they find out they're making phone calls to people alerting them of raids and shit like that, drop the hammer on their goddamn ass.
Yeah. That's jeopardy. You're putting people's lives in jeopardy.
That's also obstructing justice.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right at all, man. Yeah, it's dangerous. That's dangerous, man.
But unfortunately, you can't make the state authorities cooperate in enforcing federal law. The precedent is Arizona versus United States, so that's just settled right now. Can't make them do it.
I agree with you, Sarge, but the key thing you say and what you listen to what these people are saying, they're talking about obstruction. They're going to do every goddamn thing. It's going to be like an Easter egg hunt, but the only thing is the eggs is going to be illegals. They're going to be hiding them.
Yeah. They're gonna think they're like the resistance in World War II, hiding Jews from the Nazis or something. They're full of shit, man. They're gonna be hiding. They're gonna be hiding the Trend Arugula and MS-13 guys and all these other motherfuckers. I feel like the guy killed Laken Riley in Georgia. Oh yeah, they're really gonna virtue signal on that. Yeah, that's gonna go over like a lead balloon with most of the American people. I can guarantee you that.
I know. And where do they get their knowledge?
They're so full of themselves, man. I mean, they are so full of themselves beyond belief. I am so goddamn glad to watch them just melting down and going batshit lunatic nuts that Trump got reelected. It is both entertaining and horrifying. I'm enjoying the goddamn hell out of it. I swear to God, man, you want to see the craziness, man? I mean, like I said, I stopped watching movies. I try to devote 2 hours a day to watching a movie I haven't seen before. Some old movie, something like that. I don't always do it, but I try. Since the election, though, I stopped that. And that time I devote to watching a movie, I'm devoting to watching all these meltdown videos on YouTube. And, man, I've seen about 18 hours of them so far over the last 8 or 9 days. And I'm telling you, this is the most insane, demented, lunatic, crazy shit I've ever seen. And 85 to 90% of them are women. Over 18, I'm not making this up. Over 18 hours, I'm seeing nothing but a parade of women saying the most insane things I've ever heard. I'm going to get pregnant. And this is not, I didn't hear this just once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times, but repeatedly. I'm going to get pregnant so I can have an abortion and kill the baby. They say things like that.
Lord.
If a man walks up to me and tries to hit on me, I'm going to stab him. I feel feral right now, and they start gnashing their teeth like rabid dogs. They're talking about how they're never going to have any contact with their family again if they voted for Donald Trump. And they're wailing that shit, they're screaming, they're hollering, they're grabbing steering wheels and bashing their heads on the windshield. It's insane.
Sarge,
now look, I know these people are a small minority of women. Don't get me wrong.
I don't
They're
think
small
so.
minority. But you know what? If you got a small minority and it's only 3 or 5%, you're talking about maybe 5 or 6, 7, 8 million women. I think it's bigger than that, though.
I think it's more than that. What do we need to observe one's head turn around on their neck 360 degrees?
I've seen that. I've seen that too. You want to see the videos? There was one that actually pretty much did it. She rotated about 300 degrees. I ain't never seen it. It was nothing like this in 2016.
Man, I don't know what's going on. We've lost our minds.
You know what? I'll tell you what it is, man. I'll tell you what it is. Christopher Rufo described it. He's a guy that's been doing all this woke investigation, all this woke shit, and all this craziness. He calls it the cluster B personality. It's 4 main psychiatric pathologies that he describes. He says the cluster B personality type is more and more extant throughout society, even in people who govern us. And he describes these various categories of these psychoneuroses, and then he explains how it fits into what we're going on with the intersection of the cluster B personality with Trump derangement syndrome, and how all this shit is starting to metastasize. And I think he's dead on the money.
Wow. It's insane. It's insane. And what's happened to our country? Really?
Public education.
I mean, what's going on?
Public education.
Is it the
and
education?
the infusion of these people who got into the education system and have ruined it.
Yeah.
All these, you know the types we're talking about. That's what. Why do you think they're going crazy about people going after the Department of Education and all this other stuff? Because they know that's where the stuff was hatched. They know that's where all this nest of vipers set up to do what they're doing to our children.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think a look at property rights and everything. Really, we're walking such a fine line of devastation where we don't have the right to protect ourselves anymore, or I mean, it's just insane. Where are we safe anywhere? I mean, I don't know what to say anymore sometimes. I don't know.
I'll tell you something that you probably didn't know. You don't own property in this country. If you do, you're a fucking fool if you think so. Okay? Stop paying your ground rent to find out what happens. Okay? If you really was truly free, quote unquote, then there wouldn't be no such thing as property taxes, would there? Okay? So obviously you're not free in this country because you stop paying your ground rent. I call it ground rent. They'll come back here and kick your ass out and get some bitch and goddamn pay it. Like a good little slave.
Yeah.
Trust me, been there, done it. Been there, done it.
What are we going to do?
What
are we going to do?
Hey, we got to do the slow road back, man. We might look. I doubt if me or you or anybody here is going to live long enough to see the end of this, but we can certainly see the beginning of the end of it, and that's what needs to start now. The long road back to get rid of all of this, man. And this election, I think, is a watershed toward that end. We just got to keep it up. Can't let up off the gas pedal.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I mean, we got to stop accepting the corrupt premises. That's one thing I like about Matt Gaetz. I watch Matt Gaetz in congressional hearings, and he'd be questioning these 3-star and 4-star generals about DEI and the armed forces, and he'd be picking it apart bit by bit in minute detail. Whenever they would say something, these things. These guys are used to people accepting these platitudes they spit out, and you're just going to accept them without analyzing them in any depth or any detail. And people like Matt Gaetz, who are really smart and know how to put together a coherent argument for or against something, are able to just take them apart piece by piece, bit by bit. That's why I want to see this guy as Attorney General. Because I've watched him in these hearings on the armed forces and DEI, and, man, he was so fucking sharp, man. I wish everybody could see how you're supposed to respond to these kinds of things. And he didn't go crazy. He didn't yell at any of the people. He didn't he didn't try to browbeat them. He did what they said, and every single predicate, verb, vowel, clause, you name it, he would go into it and pick it apart. It was just magnificent.
Yeah.
Well, here's another way you can look at it too. I mean, if you have a building if you see one cockroach and you spray it or squash it or whatever you do to it, okay, there's thousands more behind him. There's thousands, tens of thousands more that is escaping. So until you kill the whole fucking damn colony of cockroaches, they're just going to keep coming out, coming out and coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that is true.
You know, what else are you going to do? I mean, damn.
Yeah.
You let one escape, and it's going to go back, repopulate, and it's going to come back with 500 more. Same thing in society today. We just keep electing the same old fucking bullshit, you know, and the problem just continues and continues. You know, it's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. You're right, Gunslinger. But I tell you one damn thing, though. Tom Homan ain't bullshitting about what he's going to do. He's going to be looking out with everything he got to try to see if they attempt to obstruct him in removing. Because they're going to start with the criminal illegals, and that's where they should start. And they're going to start with them. And he's going to see if they attempt to do any obstruction of them removing these people. And again, he's going to be on them like stink on shit if that's what they try to do. He's been waiting for this. He's been salivating for this opportunity for at least the last 5 years.
I hope Trump brings in the army. Bring in the army.
He's already said that's what he's going to do.
What he's going to do that. I mean, round them up. You heard that weed killer called Roundup. Round them up.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm all for it.
He said that he's going to attempt to apply the Alien Act to justify his use of the armed forces.
Yeah.
And it's still on the book. It was passed in the late 19th century, about 3 years after the Constitution was ratified, but it's still on the books.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't know.
So we shall see. See, here's the thing. I think it's really wise to start with the criminal illegals because look, nobody is arguing to keep criminal illegals in the country. That'll at least get something that mostly everybody can agree upon, even some of the Democrats, that they need to go.
Yep.
If you start there and you have a successful program with there, then you can move on from there to the welfare grifters.
Yeah, okay.
And then who knows what's left after those two categories? Maybe it might be worth considering letting them stay. I'm not saying it should be. I'm saying maybe. But the first two categories, they got to go for sure.
Well, even what the new borders are. What's his name? Okay, and he was remember when he was talking to AOC, asshole on crack. Okay. Well, asshole said, "Well, what about the family?" Well, family can go with them. Family can go with them.
Perfect.
They all gotta go. Let you and I go rob a bank on Monday and decide because of our goodwill and morality undertaking, we take the money back Thursday. You think the charge is just going to go away? Hell no. We done something wrong. We was criminal. We need to pay the punishment.
Yep.
No. I got to agree with you there.
Yeah.
But like I said, given the fact that the worst problem is in these blue states. That's where most of the problem is concentrated because they have attracted it and begged for it. And they're not going to cooperate. And the federal resources are going to be limited unless sizable numbers of the armed forces are employed, like National Guard and active duty military. So assuming that they are not, then the resources the federal government has at its disposal are going to be limited in places where you can't get cooperation from the local and state authorities. So you're going to have to prioritize. And I think the priority needs to be with the criminal illegals. Just a matter of logistics.
Well, so as you say, the problem is with these blue states. I agree with you.
Yeah, totally.
What did Major League Baseball do to Atlanta with moving the All-Star game?
Boycott.
That's right. They took the All-Star game someplace else to another state.
Yeah.
Well, we got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And see, people are not ready. They don't want to do that. They don't want to disassociate themselves from this new generation of misfits. They don't want to do it. Unless it's some holy will that you got to stay with them. Unless it's some holy will, you got to invite them over for dinner and pray with them and all that crazy mess. And while you doing that, they plotting and planning how to stab you in the goddamn back.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. But
bless your heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we know what needs to be done. I believe Donald Trump knows what to be done. I know damn well Tom Homan knows what needs to be done. And if they put him in charge and turn him loose, I think he will get the job largely accomplished. And if he doesn't, he will get the ball rolling so eventually it can be done.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Interesting indeed.
Remember, Pete Hegseth gets confirmed as Secretary of Defense. He's going to have order the Pentagon to cooperate with Tom Homan, for sure. You can count on that. He ain't going to have no trouble from SecDef on that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, man. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done. I just don't think it can be done in years. I don't know.
Oh, we got a great country if we
got
keep it.
ourselves into this mess, man. How do we get ourselves into this?
We got a great country if we can keep it. If we don't decide to keep it, we won't have.
Yeah. Great country, we decided to keep it. Yep.
Who thought we'd ever come to this state?
We decided to keep it, sorry. We decided to keep it. That's the key.
But just think, though, Joe, we got millions of people who voted for Kamala Harris. Yeah, Trump won a resounding victory. But let's not forget, millions of people voted for Kamala Harris. And some of them were so-called elite. Some of them were generals in the flag officers in the United States Armed Forces endorsing her. So we got to keep that in mind, too. We got a problem, and it ain't just passing. It's institutionalized, it's ingrained, and it's deep.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Hell,
oh man!
Look at all them companies down there staging in Mexico on the U.S. border in Texas. Look at them. You got countries from around the world. You even got some African countries that's staging to manufacture, produce, put them on rail trucks, and bring the products up into the United States. And, I noticed one thing in the one report that I watched. They didn't mention about the Indian businesses. I wonder why. Well, it was hoping that Cracker had got elected to become president. That's why. And what do you think she would have done as president for those Indian companies? Do y'all realize that a lot of people subscribe to the ideology that blood is thicker than water? If you don't think that's not a reality, then you need another thing to come. She got that close to being the president, and what do you think she would have done for India? We already got enough problems with China and every damn body else. And then you got people talking about a $26, $25 minimum wage. Hell, China can't even deal with the labor costs, compete with the labor costs of Mexico. Could you believe that? They can't deal with the labor costs in Mexico. So how in the hell would the United States businesses deal with anybody paying minimum wage of $25 an hour?
Yeah.
Well, you're absolutely right. When we got to care for our country, and in the future we're heading in the direction we're heading. Where we were heading is a dead end. Yeah,
well, Joe, we need to also take notice of how the arguments about illegal immigration evolved over the years. At first, they told us anyone who was saying it was a problem was just being an alarmist, that it was something that was just made up. It had something to do with just being afraid of brown people or something like that. And that's what they were telling us for long. Because I remember, I've been talking about this since about 2003. I remember when it really came to my attention, I started talking about it back in 2003. I backed a governor running in Illinois named Jim Oberweis, who tried to raise the alarm on the immigration issue, and he got hooted down by all the elites in Illinois and Chicago in particular about how he was an alarmist. He didn't know what he was talking about. He just making things up. He made his famous advertisement about helicopter over Soldiers Field, and he said Soldiers Field holds this many people, and that many people are coming to the United States every week or every 3 days or something like that. I forget what it was. And, they just jumped on him like, oh, God, he was, he's a lover, he just hates brown people, blah, 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 blah. And now it went from that to it being a non-existent problem to a problem, well, it may be happening, but these people need asylum, and they need the border, and besides, we need the labor because Americans won't do the jobs that they're willing to do. So it's really a good thing we're having there. If we don't have many, our economy's going to collapse. We won't have lettuce on the table. You see the way they evolve the argument over the years? Because they know they're lying. They know they're covering up. So they got to keep coming up with all these little fig leaves to cover up what is plainly in front of it. The emperor ain't got no motherfucking clothes on, he's butt-ass naked, and his dick is hanging out.
Hell, drive around town and look at the damn billboards with some lawyer dressed up in a suit, a person of color, and everything on the damn billboard, the message is in a foreign language. How in the hell you know what they're saying? It's in a foreign language.
Well, they advertise, they got somebody to translate all these different languages for you. Azerbaijan,
they may be calling me a son of a bitch.
Yeah, you only speak Azerbaijan. We got somebody who speaks that. Turkmen. Oh, we got somebody who speaks Turkmen. Laplander. We got a Laplander translator too.
Yeah, they here telling the illegals how to circumvent the damn laws. That's what they doing.
Yeah, well, we know now. They can't hide it no more. Now they're trying to tell us it's a good thing. See what they do? Yeah. They say what's happening is good for us. The reason we don't need to resist it because it's too good for us, and now it's such a big problem, it's going to be too disruptive to fix it. You see how these people work?
Yeah.
Oh, these people are the worst ever. Every problem that manifests itself that we start to say something about, this is usually the evolution of it. Like with transgenderism and all that other shit. Homosexuals just want to have their basic rights, don't want to be raided by the police, like in Stone, in New York. Oh, they don't want that. That's all they want. They don't want anything else. Now they're demanding to use a woman's bathroom on Capitol Hill. I tell you, man, these people are like nothing I had ever seen in my life before, man. Nothing. And they just harangue you and browbeat you and talk down to you and condescend to you and tell you you don't know anything. You're just not sophisticated to understand all the nuances of the way the culture and society is evolving. Donald Trump is such an antidote to this. I know he's not a messiah. I know he's not a savior. But goddamn it, just the fact that he's a disruptor, man, is just satisfying enough for right now. Until maybe we can find a real savior. He'll do for now. He's close enough for now, as far as I'm concerned. Given the fact we haven't had anything like him in, I don't know, about 30 years.
I'd say longer than that.
Up until 2006, I'd say between 1989 and 2000, nothing like him. I didn't say him exactly, but anything remotely like him in all that time. From 1989 to 2016, we didn't have nothing like Donald Trump. Not even close.
Nope. True.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Trump was a real wake-up call. And right at the time we needed it, too,
Yeah. Like you said, man, you know what, Joe? I think he's gotten religion, too. I think he's got a genuine religious conversion, Joe. If he hasn't gotten it, he's getting there.
He could be right. Yeah, he could be right.
And why shouldn't he, given what he's been up against and what he's survived? No president in history has ever had anything like. Not even Abraham Lincoln went through anything like this, and he got assassinated. He actually did get assassinated.
That's true.
I'm talking about the opposition he faced before he got assassinated. Nobody's gone through what Trump has gone through.
When he gets day one, I would be like a bull in a china closet, seeing red. I'd be going after every one of these son bitches, man. I mean, I don't care if it takes 50 years of lawsuit. At least my kids will see it. His kids, the end, the outcome. I'd sue it. I'd ban.
Well, look, the country is seeing red. Have you seen the map of the counties that voted for Trump? It looks like the whole country doesn't just have measles. It looks like they've been in flames.
Yeah.
I mean, you see little isolated patches of blue here and there. 3,300 or more counties in the United States, and like 90-something% of them went for Trump. It's really amazing.
I've said this before. That's how you get a bull in a bullfight to charge you. Is it doesn't like the color red, obviously. Okay, it must hate the color red. Well, from now on, maybe for the next 4 years until he gets out of office, if you wear that color, red, I don't care if it's a shirt, I don't care if it's a jacket, I don't care if it's a hat, make America great again or fuck you, Trump won or whatever. I don't care if you got red underwear on. You're going to be a target. I guarantee it. They're already saying now. They'll try to do violence against anybody that has red on. Well, I got a red hat, motherfucker, and I got 60 rounds of my 9mm. Bring it on, baby.
Well, Jill Biden wore red on Election Day. Jill Biden herself wore red on Election Day, remember?
That's exactly what you got to have. You got to have them rounds with you. Wear that red.
That's right.
Wear that damn gun on your damn hips. That's what you got to do.
You betcha.
I keep telling you, it's beyond that point. These people don't told you. They're terrified. They look at a map and they see they're surrounded like with alligators.
I'll tell you, man, right now I'm riding around. I keep my short barrel AR and 300 blackout with 4 magazines. It's nice and compact. I keep it right there in the truck with me whenever I go out. And I got made a little compartment underneath the back trunk area. All I do is hit it, and there it is. It's ready every time I go out. I got it in 4 magazines right there, and it's nice and compact. Fits real nice. Nobody will know it's there because I got to hit the switch to open the door to get to it.
Well, I was Sunday night. I got me a new baseball cap. It's a red one, solid red. Mm-hmm. I'm a target now, and it says Trump. Fuck your feelings. I wore it to Hooters Sunday night. I got 10 compliments on my hat, all positive. 2 of them were from Mexicans, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in a Democratic county, and nobody seems to be upset that Trump won. Like I do live with around a bunch of relatively sane Democrats in this particular county I'm in. So if all Democrats were like this, I wouldn't have no problem with Democrats. At least the ones where I live.
Yeah.
And most of them are black Democrats too, and they act like they got common sense. But I don't know. It's like a bunch of them. I got a bunch of them, man. These elites around here, man. They have just been so cultified, brainwashed. I mean, they can't see reason.
Well, I tell you what, before Blog Talk go completely off, people need to visit Liberal Dan and give him a good old-fashioned verbal ass kicking.
So he just hang up on you. That's all. I don't think they're gonna be in the mood for any end zone dances. Although all the NFL football players are doing the Trump dance now. I'm cracking up watching all these guys doing the Trump dance.
Yeah, the Trump dance. Yeah.
Yeah. And the NFL is cutting it out. They don't want nobody to see all these players doing the Trump dance, man.
Yep.
It's beautiful, man. It really is.
It is.
Beautiful thing.
Hell, I can't get none of my friends to answer the goddamn phone, Sarge.
They know what's coming. That's why.
Even
they already know.
He changed his name trying to disguise and hide.
Oh, God.
I ain't seen Naj. The Democrats probably don't call him, and they probably don't beat the hell out of him. We told you to go to that Joe Gibson show and change their mind. We told you to go to Donnie's show and change his mind. You messed up. Now you're going to get a good butt whooping.
Well, you got to remember, one thing I got to give Naj, though, even though Naj could be a pain in the ass sometimes, Naj does try to win you over with a reasonable, rational argument, even if it's even corrupt. At least it's rationally corrupt. So he'll at least try to make a case for what he advocates. Now, the problem with these Democrats, one of the reasons that they lost this election cycle, because they weren't interested in trying to persuade you to anything. They were interested in browbeating you and haranguing you and shaming you and threatening you and extorting you into voting for their cause.
That's right. Yep.
Now, that's why they're going to take a beef with – if they're going to take a beef with Naj, they're going to take a beef with him on that basis that he didn't do enough of that. And it serves him right. Even James Carville, and you know what a piece of work he is, he was telling them this. This is why you lost the election, doing this shenanigans. I mean, you should see the way, man, James Carville didn't pull no punches talking about his Democrat colleagues. He literally said the woke shit. You got to leave it alone. Remember, he's the guy that came up with "It's the economy, stupid." I'm telling you, I'm so pleased with the outcome. Even if nothing positive is accomplished, it's almost worth the price of admission just to see this, just to see the interim between the election and the inauguration. It's almost worth the price just to see them going crazy.
Yep. They ain't going crazy. They going batshit crazy.
Really? I'm out of words to describe the lunacy I'm seeing. Like I said, I've been watching 18 hours of these meltdowns. And there's a consistent theme that comes across. It's consistent. There's several themes that continually re-echo in the midst of all the insanity. Hysterical women just going nuts. You're taking away all of my rights. I don't have them anymore. How could you destroy my security? And they start booing and bawling and, man, tears coming down their eyes, batting out, or they're threatening violence.
Hey, that group of blacks out in California that were trying to get reparation, you can't find none of them now.
That's what led. Talk about
I'm back on, guys. I'm back on. They booted me off there for a couple minutes.
Oh, well, good to have you back.
Blog Talk Radio. Hey, what do you guys do to buy this thing out? Let's buy this out. Let's put our pool of money together and buy out Blog Talk Radio. What's up?
George Soros got it, man. You got to buy it from him.
Oh, man. Well, maybe we can send,
I'm pretty sure that Blog Talk Radio is one of those umbrellas that he picked up with an umbrella company, and Blog Talk Radio is probably in there with him. Because he's been buying all kind of radio stations and social media platforms and everything else, man. He's trying to get control of the stream of information.
Yeah.
Good thing Musk has got X.
Hey, sorry, you heading over to Shabaka?
Say what?
You remember back in the day?
You heading over to Shabaka show a little bit?
I guess so. Why don't we all go over there to Shabaka show?
You remember back in the day when John Rockefeller ran for president and Congress made him reveal every damn thing he had, even the bubblegum machines?
Yeah, that was then. This is
you got